Vegas, eh? Yep, that's a maple leaf. Because I'm coming to you today from Canada. Peace, everybody. Good to see you. Thanks for coming with me for a walk. What are we talking about today? We're talking about our 1 year, almost anniversary of living in Las Vegas for 1 year. Now, a little bit of correction there. Canadians can only live in the United States for 6 months of the year, so I haven't lived there for a year. But it's been almost a year since I bought my condo down there, and I thought it would be a good time now to talk about what I think of it. What was it like my first year? And I know there's other Canadians thinking about getting a winter home in Nevada or Arizona or Florida or wherever you go. A buddy of mine once said, hey, why don't you go to Florida? No offense to my Florida friends, but boy, there's a lot of seniors down there, and I don't feel like a senior at my age and my physical ability. So I just thought, I don't need the humidity. I don't need the crowds. Like, what is there? Like 28 million people living there? There's 4 million people in Nevada. I don't need to go on and on why I wouldn't want to live in Florida for the wintertime. I know it's fun, lots of attractions, but Nevada has a lot of attractions too, a lot, including where I'm staying in Las Vegas. And it's not just the Strip. People say, oh, you like going to the Strip, do you? Sure, once in a while, but I don't go there all the time. But I'm kind of sidetracking as per usual. So right now, just to let you know, we're walking at my summer home here in Canada in an area called Muskoka. And in my other video, we described, we compared and contrasted the two tourist areas of Las Vegas, Nevada, and Muskoka, Ontario, Canada, which has the second most expensive properties in Canada next to Whistler, BC, which you've probably heard of. So there's a lot of similarities between the two places. But after a year, I can say I honestly have no regrets whatsoever buying my winter home in Nevada. It was eventful. I saw and did a lot of things. Really love the mountains there and the canyons. And there's still so much more for me to see. And that's what I love about Nevada. It's always changing, isn't it? Las Vegas, always something new. But let's go back to it. So what I did is I started looking for my home about 8 months prior to moving down there, and buying it. So I'm just a little bit distracted. We've gone for a walk here. Part of the reason was I was going to get my lawnmower at my neighbor's place. And I seem to be having bad luck with my lawn tractor this year. And my neighbor fixes it and I break it every time. And just now the belt came off, so I can't cut the grass. That's why I'm wearing this funny looking hat, keep the sun off my neck. But one of the things I like about Las Vegas is they've been getting rid of grass, understandably. Who needs it? It really is a waste when you think about it. And, Los Angeles, Nevada, Las Vegas, all of these different places are trying to conserve water now because grass uses so much of it. But as you can see from the greenery here, we have no shortage of rain or water here. We have 1,500 lakes in this district. And I was just talking to Duck here. Duck, say hi to everybody. Duck. There's a story of a bear that got into somebody's place and attacked them. Literally, a mother and two cubs. She opened up the glass slider, went downstairs. The guy says he punched it in the nose. The lady hit it with a baseball bat. I don't think this bear knew it hit it. And it took off, but boy, did it do major damage to the guy. He was able to talk in his interview, but massive scratches down his stomach, and his nose was almost ripped off. And scary scene, man. So if we see a bear today, I guess that'll be kind of interesting, but you'll understand why if the camera starts shaking. I've seen bears before. They're usually afraid of people. But you never know. So when people see those cute little bear cubs and say, hey, give them a hug and put them in a shelter and let them grow up and put it back out again, I hope they're the ones who get attacked. But anyway, don't get mad at me, please. Just my opinion. So I dealt with a company called Vegas One Realty. And the owner is called Tommy Lee. And the real estate agent I dealt with directly was Alex De Los Santos. A-Man for short. He also works with 702 Realty doing commercial properties. They were fantastic. So about 8 months prior to actually going down and looking at properties, they put me on this really cool email system where every day they send an email out of different properties that I could view. And I could adjust the program to deliver only, properties in the price range that I'm realistically interested in. And, number of bathrooms, bedrooms that I want, that kind of thing. Wanted a condo. And just now I realize how much I love having a condo in Las Vegas, because that lawnmower broke for the 4th time for me this summer. And I have to cut the lawn about every 2 weeks. So in a condo, I don't have to cut the grass. I pay condo fees, but then when I add up what I pay for gas, repair, and all the other things I have to do for the property, I don't mind condo fees now. I don't cut the grass there. So anyway, that's one advantage of what's called a snowbird. A Canadian going down to the United States for the wintertime to a warm part. It's called a snowbird. We're like the birds flying south, right? And as I was saying earlier, Florida was off the list. Las Vegas, Nevada is a place I've been to many times because of a convention for work that I went down to. And it's just been fantastic. No regrets. People say, what's the number one thing you liked about it? What I liked about it is so much to do. Now, this is from a guy who lives in the country, mind you. So it's pretty, it's quiet here. It's beautiful. But there's not a heck of a lot to do unless you're really into water sports, like on the lake here. And I know that sounds bad what I'm saying, doesn't it? I don't know. I guess I like seeing shows. I like seeing canyons and trails, and I can meet more people that way too. I'm single, so it's kind of nice to be able to meet people in the States who are all down in Las Vegas for one thing, which is to have fun, right? Including a lot of the locals. I mean, I've met some really nice people through what's called a Meetup app. It's called Meetup, and it's just for people. It's not a dating site. It's just for people who want to meet up and have similar interests. So one of them was for hiking. So Las Vegas Hiking Adventures. So I've been to trails around Lake Mead and up near Mount Charleston. It's just fantastic. So beautiful. And so that's been a real advantage. Another really neat thing is just the amount of places to eat and shop. It's really fun. I mean, I like to shop, and of course I like to eat. And it's just so cool having that opportunity there. So, and Las Vegas is one of the best places in the world, they're saying now, to eat, because there's so many varied restaurants. So that's really cool. I'm vegetarian as well, although you'd never know it. I drink too much beer and wine and snacks, so I tend to put on weight, even though I'm vegetarian. But there's a great restaurant in Las Vegas that I discovered just before I came back, which was called Chef Kenny's Asian Vegan Cuisine. I don't know if you know him or not. He's in Koreatown, and I think that's Warm Springs Road. Listen to me, I sound like a local now. I mean, this time last year, I was just looking at places and wondering what section was what. So going back to that, I originally told Alex De Los Santos and Tommy Lee at Vegas One Realty, and no, I'm not getting a plug for that. You're in Canada when. I told them Henderson. Henderson seemed like the place to go. Everybody was talking about how, what a nice place it is. It's clean, it's safe. The only downside, as I discovered, is it's about, 20, 30 minutes outside of Las Vegas, or away from the Strip, maybe longer. I would think longer when the traffic jams are bad. And every time I've gone through there, the traffic always seems bad. But anyway, so Alex picked me up at Planet Hollywood, drove me around to like 10 different places that I had picked out. It was just like one of those TV shows, And he was great, by the way. I mean, if you need a real estate agent, give me a shout or Google search him, and he'll set you up. Especially when you're able to view all the different properties online. That's so cool, right? Anyway, so I did that, and looked at 10 different places. It was a Sunday. My flight was leaving late Sunday night, and it was Saturday night. Sorry, and my flight was leaving late Sunday night. And I said to Alex, it was good to look at them all, but I'm going to have to come back, I guess, another day and, check it out, right? Check out some more places. Okay, understandable, So that night, looking through the email listings, I found another one that I thought was interesting, but this one was in Southwest Las Vegas. And I thought, Southwest Vegas, I don't really know it that well. And so I thought, okay, let's see if Alex wants to go. And it was Sunday morning. And, he's a young man, and I'm sure Saturday night he was probably busy, but he had no hesitation about taking me. He said, yeah, no problem, Sandy. So I told him I'd meet him somewhere. So I ended up taking an Uber, ended up meeting him, and we went to this place in Southwest Vegas that I fell in love with right away. It was so beautiful. You know those things, I guess, love at first sight, which I've never experienced, but I guess you could say it happens with people with properties, which I didn't know it could. But as soon as I walked in there, I'm telling you, I fell in love with the place. And by the way, thank you for subscribing to this channel, liking and sharing. I know I'm supposed to say that earlier, but I always forget. And I really appreciate it. And everybody's been so nice to me, giving me great feedback, because I'm not a techie guy. Definitely not a mechanic, as you know, as well. And giving me suggestions. And more than suggestions, though, people have just been really positive about how to do this YouTube thing. And I'm really enjoying it, because not only is it something I think I can look back on when I'm older, you know, and say, oh, I remember this place or that place. What I'm liking about it is just meeting other people and hearing some of their stories and that sort of thing, and meeting other YouTubers as well, like Steven. He's really good too with his channel called Not Leaving Las Vegas. He's actually another Canadian. He's from Alberta and has been down there for years. And I think it's interesting because all us YouTubers all seem to have our own little niche that we talk about. You know, mine is a twist of a Canadian being in Vegas, but also being retired and what it's like to live down there. So anyway, back to it. Alex showed me this place. I fell in love with it instantly. I'm a big tennis fan. You know, I hadn't played for years, but I used to play all the time. I got really good for a long time, and I was a teacher and everything. It was great. But, you know, over the years, I lost interest in it. And so my condo has a tennis court like 150 feet away from my door, which is awesome. Duck likes it. Right, Duck? Duck? And what she likes about it is she gets to drive down to Vegas with me because she can't fly. She's too heavy for the airplane. The airplane, Callie weighs, her real name's Callie. Duck weighs 50 pounds. And so she's too big for the cabin, so she would have to go in the hold. And everybody tells me horror stories, and it would just psychologically scar this little spoiled dog. So I drive down. So I'm really lucky. I had friends drive down with me. My buddy, my best friend, and his son. They, the two of them drove down with me, and then they flew back. And then when I came back in April, or late March, another buddy of mine, his name's Buddha. You'll hear me talk about him in these videos. He's a buddy who's a Buddha. So I call him a Buddha. He has 3 Ds in his name. Anyway, we took like a mindfulness meditation course together. That's where we met. He's an awesome guy. He flew down in April and then drove back with me. So it was just the two of us on the way back, and we had an awesome time seeing the beautiful countryside of the United States of America. Going through Colorado was especially beautiful, in Utah as well. And anyway, so I don't know if I mentioned already, but Canadians can only spend 6 months down there in the United States. And we want to spend longer. Our Canadian Snowbird Association, the CSA, has actually lobbied the American government for a few years now, I'm told, trying to get that increased to 8 months. And before you get all mad at me and say, hey, you guys Canadians can't live off of us, that's not what we do. Canadians coming down there have to prove, you know, they can financially afford to be down there. But also look at the money we're spending, right? I mean, every day I'm down there, I'm spending money, which is amazing. And it almost looks like that boat's going to hit that dock, doesn't it? Anyway, spend a lot of money down there. So why not let us spend 8 months worth of money down there instead of 6, right? But anyway, it's been a great experience down there. I recommend it to anybody and everybody. If you're interested in getting information on how to go about it, another piece of advice I talk about is RBC Bank USA. And again, I don't get any plugs from this. There's RBC Bank Canada. This is an arm's length, online only version of RBC Canada. It's RBC USA. And they get you set up with everything you need to buy your place down there. You know, from mortgage to your bank accounts to having American credit card and debit card. Just makes it all so much easier. So between Vegas One Realty and Tommy Lee and Alex de Santos and RBC USA, Aaron Seymour is the guy I dealt with there. It was really, I wouldn't say seamless. You know, it had its problems and frustrations, but it was great. And so when I ended up buying the property, the condo, you know, you do the usual back and forth negotiations, and you know the bank requires what do you call it? safety inspection, or an inspection, all that stuff. Which when you think about it, that protects you in the long run, right? And got all that done, and it was great. And it was even more fun, having to fit the place out, right? I didn't bring anything down with me furniture-wise. I just have a little car, so that was great fun doing that too. So anyway, I'm just trying to think of other things about moving down there. I can't really think of anything more offhand, but you can see my little beach here, and the lake is really down. We have 1,500 freshwater lakes in my district. So just to let you know, it's not like this in the wintertime here. This place is very, very cold, snowy, and it was a crap winter. And that kind of leads me to my next story, which is the fact that when I was in Vegas, it was their worst winter in 50 years, right? Because of the snow that they got and the cold weather. So it was kind of funny. I looked at Duck and I almost cried at one point, thinking, wow, I mean, how could I move to a place that actually was getting snow? I looked out one day and there was snow on the palm trees. And that was depressing. But there was only a couple of centimeters of snow. No offense to my friends in Vegas, but it was fun watching everybody freak out because of the fact that they're not used to snow. So all the roads were dangerous. That part was kind of sad. Canceled school for a day. I felt sorry for the kids because they had to do a makeup day for missing one day of school. Here in Canada, we missed 13 snow days this past year, and not one of them was a makeup day. Everybody just learns to adapt to it. But yeah, different places, different things, right? Just to let you know too, again, how this changes. So this lake will actually freeze about a yard deep. I'd say about 3 feet, maybe more. This past winter, it was really deep. I heard some people saying it was really hard to go ice fishing. And I mean, it's kind of interesting. It was that bad of a winter everywhere, not just Vegas. But it's been a year. Super happy. Going back down again in November. And looking forward to that big time. And I have a list of things I want to see and do already. And you can see how clear the water is, eh? There's some mucky stuff in there, but the water's clear. So I'm looking forward to going back down and doing a lot more things. And then coming back next spring and living here again for the summer. So my dog, as you can see, has it rough. She lives in Canada in the summer, Las Vegas in the winters. And as my nephew says, if he comes back to life as another life form, he wants to come back as my dog Duck. So anyway, thanks for joining me. That's about all for today. My 1 year anniversary of living in Las Vegas, and I wouldn't change a thing. So much to see, do, fun, and really glad I've done it. So looking forward, the next video is going to be about the top apps that I use when I'm in Las Vegas and what I used on my way down there. And I hope you'll enjoy that too. So as usual, I'll say Vegas, eh?